So this is your quick what to do for the RE task and how to do it. So firstly, these are the learning goals. You need to show that you know the challenges faced by the church and the response the church had to these. And you need to demonstrate your ability to research, select ideas, and communicate. The big one is your understanding. And you need to show us that you understand the impact, challenges, and responses of the church on the society at the time and even through to society today. So overall, there's 3 parts to the task. You need to first do the background reading. What was the challenge and how did the church respond? And then you will evaluate. So use the knowledge from here to evaluate, was this a positive reaction and response? Was it a negative? And what was the impact? And look at the change before versus after. Then you'll use those to think, well, how should the church have responded to retain their position or more positively influence their position in society? And so we all know through the Black Death that there was a significant change in the way that the church was seen. There was a loss of authority. So you need to think, well, what do we know from today? You can link with church teachings to what the church could have done. So obviously you've selected a challenge, choose one that interests you, obviously, but also maybe think about one you already know. You need to create the background research. Now you'll notice there aren't questions written for these, and that's done because it's building from your history assignment. You should be able to develop those core background research questions. And then we have provided the focus questions once you get into the higher order areas. Crusaders, just need to talk to you about focus question 3 and 4. But firstly, how do you do the task? You need to consolidate your research and focus on paragraph 1 on outlining the challenge and the response. So this is a very basic, the what and the why. So you just need to use a hammer or a peel for this one. Now, just for Crusaders. The Crusades is different to the other challenges, as the Crusades was a church response, whereas the Black Death saw the church react and the Reformation was a reaction to the church. So the church actually sparked this challenge, and because of that, we need to rethink focus question 3 and 4. So this is how they are in the current research booklet. But what I want you to look at instead, for focus question 3, I want to investigate why the church called the Crusades, which is like why the church responded in this way. Why did the church respond? And what were they responding to push forward with the Crusades? And then instead, focus question 4, explore the church's reaction to the failure. Why were there so many Crusades when they weren't having the desired outcome? What was that reaction to? All right, back to the rest of the task. Next section is obviously your evaluation. This is your comparison of before and after. What was the position before the challenge came? What was the position of the church after the challenge and after the church had responded? And you're evaluating, so was this a positive or negative church? And talk us through that. So when we're looking at evaluation, you're weighing up the strengths and the limitations, and you're making that judgment about that. So you need to look at the value or the significance of this challenge on the position, on the authority of the church in society, and on the connection of society to faith. And in this paragraph, you will use the compare or contrast structure, and you are talking us through the impact. And in that, you need to, if you're evaluating, be using your evaluative language. We need to know through that if it was a positive or if it was a negative change. And here are some different words that you can use and also some sentence starters to help in your paragraph. And the last one now is you need to propose. So you need to use all of your research from paragraph 1, paragraph 2 to develop a new strategy. So you get to go back and talk to the people after the Black Death, talk to the church, at the last crusade. What should they do to improve their position? Consider those who had an impact. So go back and think about Charlemagne and any positive that he had. Think about other people in church history. So you might need to now deviate beyond the research booklet, look at who had positive impacts on the church. And then how could even what we've seen in the church today, the development of Catholic social teachings, different popes having different impacts, how could we use that and those positive actions to move the church through the Black Death, Crusades, the Reformation? But this is the big one where you show the understanding. You need to write it as a slam dunk, and you need to make recommendations. So how should they have responded and justify. So for every idea you come up with, you need to link it to the church teachings. This is where you'll be getting those sources, the papal documents, this Catholic social teachings. And also your cognitive verb is to put forward an idea for consideration or action. So you're putting forward an idea, a strategy, to call the church to action. Now, you simply have two choices. You can present this live in class, or you can present it as a video. There's pros and cons for each. You can go through. Each of these require you to use visuals, to use speech techniques, to use eye contact, gesture. You need to rehearse. The video, you need to show your face. It is not a reading activity. So if you're going to use the video because you don't want to have to stand up and present, you still need to be using your voice to articulate, get enthusiasm. You're proposing a whole new way, so we need to hear that in your voice. Now, the criteria. You can see on your criteria sheet, it tells you exactly where we'll be looking to get this grade. So you need to show the connection of key information. So you need to look at this was the challenge, this was the church response, and a wide range of evidence. Using 8 websites is not a range. That is, you're using a number of websites. So you need to be going to databases, primary sources, articles, websites, books. That's a range. The next one is in paragraph 1 to 3. So you need to show that your understanding in this. How have I explained and then justified? And have I proposed an informed strategy, or have I just made up something that I think would work? You need to really be giving yourself credibility. And this is into your skills. You can describe and explain the change. So this is 2 and 3. I can talk to you about the change that happened, the before and after, and the difference. And I can use that to propose how we could fix this or how we could strengthen. And you're also using the terminology. You have, and this is where the video people need to be aware. You've presented an informative speech with confidence and flair, adhering to time restrictions. You cannot be confident, you cannot have flair if you read and your voice is monotone. And the last one, this one goes with your research booklet and bibliography. You've conducted thorough research from a diverse range of accurately referenced and relevant sources. So you need to be thinking about the sources you'll use. You're standing up as an expert. You need to show us that you're an expert. All the best with this.